everybody, welcome to Business Hustle. I've just wet myself with a bottle of water and we're about to start the show, so thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Chris.
I'm Henry.
I'm Connor.
And today, Henry, what are we going to talk about other than wet trousers?
Wet trousers. Christopher looks as if he has wet himself, but that we will move on quickly. Today we want to talk about the power of investment and how important it is to invest in yourself, because in reality, if you're not investing in yourself, your own health, your own well-being, your own education, you're even invest in mentors or a coach or books or whatever, the reality is you can't take anybody further than you are yourself. And as business owners, it's so key that we have that as an ethos, that we are investing in ourselves. So that's what I want to talk about. So what's your thoughts, guys?
Well, I personally, for years, have always wanted to read and always went, I don't have the time to read. And once I kind of switched my brain into thinking that I have to read rather than I need to read or I want to read, it helped me. And in so many cases, if you are investing in yourself, especially when it comes to actually education, everybody couldn't go on the internet, they can watch YouTubes and do things like that, but actually spending time to listen to a podcast or an audio book or even just reading a book is a massive difference for anybody's life, and it's totally transformed mine and our business, I think, from just the different books that we have around us.
Okay, well, somebody on the other side of the lens could say, well, I listen to podcasts. Can you say, how often do you feel that is appropriate or beneficial to your brain to get it moving? Once a week, twice a week, every day?
I think kind of every day for me, I'm learning something. So I'll always at every point in every single day get something out of a day. If it's a YouTube, if it's a podcast, if it's a book, if it's an article. And I think actually, if you can't find the time, put a podcast on in the car, one like this, hopefully, if you're going to listen to it, and just spend time getting yourself in the thinking of educating yourself. And once you do that, it totally transforms your day, and it transforms your thinking as well. And you can carry one thought through which travels week to week. So like maybe I've picked something up in a book yesterday and that'll kind of follow me for the next couple of weeks.
Grasshopper.
It doesn't even have to be something to learn at the start, because I find it weird at the start to listen to just someone talking. Usually you hear a voice and you're watching a video along with it. So humour is a good way to go as well. It's a good time to unwind and have some time to yourself. So even if you start off with something that's funny to you or an interesting subject that you already know about, you can get different perspectives on things you might already know. Or you can just listen to some genuinely funny people, because it's a good time to relieve stress. So you go home, fresh-minded for your family and whatever else you have to do in the day, instead of going home and maybe feeling stressed out or not feeling like you can do something with the rest of your day. So it's all about taking that time to invest in yourself and really help you in whatever way possible, whether it is through learning or through humor or through just reading or whatever other methods.
Yeah, no, that's so true, because in reality, as much as we are business owners, but we are leaders, and in many ways, and I think that's like a term that's not used a hell of a lot in the business circle, that we are business leaders. We're not just, doesn't matter if you're a one-trick pony business or 5, 10, 15 or hundreds, we're all leaders in our own right, and even at home. And if we're not bringing leadership in those particular areas, it's very, very hard, because we always talk about having a great culture, a learning culture, educational culture, but the reality is, if we're not leading in those areas, we can't expect people to follow. So I think it's a great platform to bring people with you, because I know for us, we buy each other books and we swap podcasts and sharing ideas, and I think it's so important, because it keeps everyone sharp. Because there's nothing worse than you being a numpty in the room who's maybe not reading or not, and I think when you've got that commonality of purpose, that you want your other team members to grow.
It's also important to sort of distinguish the difference between being a boss and being a leader. Some people sort of forget what that means. And there's a great illustration, maybe we'll pop it on the screen if we can, of what a boss and a leader looks like what makes them different. And you need to remember that the boss is behind, people pointing in the direction, but the leader's in front, pulling everyone along with them. And
that's good.
Whenever you're in front of people leading the way, that's when they'll really start to, mirror your actions or do things in the right way. It's where you set the example of what you want people to be, and you're not just telling them how you want them to be. You're actually being that way for them to, look up to you and respond.
Because the reality is, I learned a statement long ago: you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't lead where you won't go. Gonna remember that one.
That's a good
now,
one.
I'll nod your head tonight, but that's not here there. But that, in reality, leaders are readers, and readers are leaders. And it's like, I know it's term and glib terms, but it's so true.
So we're talking about investment and we're talking about reading. So that's definitely one area that you can get into, reading podcasts and audiobooks and things like that. But a massive part of that is actually getting yourself out there and networking with other people as well. And I think that's a massive investment you can make in. So if you're not a reader and you're not you don't feel that you're a natural learner that way, a lot of people learn different ways. There's, I think, a synergy just whenever you're out with other people and you're mixing with maybe other businesses that may complement what you do. It's something that I think that I would encourage anybody to get on as a base level, is that get out there, meet other people, and it's an investment in you as much as it's just you getting out for a cup of coffee with people.
Yeah, it is, and it's so important because we are inspired by each other's stories, and I think even more than that, when you're around people who are inspiring, you get dragged along.
Yeah.
And it's important, and I know we have socialised over the years, and we make it a point. You know, we actually are part of the 3 to 5 club, as some of you know, and we invest in it. It costs us money per month, but we also set money aside. Well, you and I went to England to be around people of like mind, bigger agencies, because that's so important as well. Is that, you know, if we were around people who were maybe not sharp, wouldn't mean I don't mean it like that. I mean as far on as we have maybe been, because you know the reality is we can't teach anything. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's why we're around different people from bigger agencies.
It's good to be around other people as well. Some people might be afraid to go to events or might be shy or not have like the confidence, I suppose, to get themselves out there or network, and that might hold them back. But I mean, you can't really do it in the wrong way. There's no incorrect way to network. You just need to get yourself out there and get your name known and start talking with people, because like Henry always says, if you surround yourself with the right people, good things will.
Well, funny enough, that's kind of like my big point of this, is that so we can do the networking, we can do the reading, we can do the learning, but one of the big things as well is attending events and attending conferences and talks and stuff like that people are doing. And we so happen to be doing one this next month on the 18th of February. We're doing a shameless plug for this, and I think actually just events like that are something that's really important to do. So like, I'm not saying come along to our event, please come along to our event,
no obligation,
but when you attend things like this, like say video creation events, or you're looking at marketing events, and there's just so many things out there. And if you browse through Eventbrite, you'll see so many people are out doing things like that right now for your city. And I think actually just attending events like that has dramatically transformed our business, and has transformed the way we think and the way we do things. We look into new products and new services just by investing in our time and investing in ourselves and being out there.
Yeah, and it's good crack, because we have this week. It's been lovely. On Wednesday, we had Aaron Watson in, who brought buns, with Stephen in today from SDC, I think it was. SDS.
We also brought buns.
He also brought a tray of buns.
There's a common denominator here.
Yeah, that's if we end up at Christmas time obese. Look, you say those boys network. They network like crazy. They're so fat, it's unbelievable. They're fat networkers. But it is. But that's, you are what you attract, because we do that for other people. And there is a bit more than bun buying to it and the expense of it. There's about being around that the event type mentality, and you're being sharpened all the way, and I think it's just amazing.
I think it sets you up for the week. Like, I know that whenever we attend events, that you come off it and there's like this kind of pinnacle that you start off at, and obviously you'll taper off as the weeks go in, but I think whenever you attend events,
you come out with like clarity or something.
Yeah, definitely. And you come away with like, I'm going to do this. It's like our 90 days of action, that you go, we're going into this, we're going to get this out of it. And yes, you will fall off it. It's human nature for things to drop off, but it's finding more events and pushing yourself to invest in yourself.
Yeah, but there, in fact, Paddy, we're talking about accountability the other day. When the 90 days of action, he had a bit of a rough time, 4 weeks ago or whatever, but because he was involved in a network of people who was actually for him, not just about the 90 days of action, but there was other people in his network who rallied around him, and he was knocked over and touched in his heart the amount of people who actually messaged him and cheered him on, and at that point that's love in action. That's the synergy you just talked about.
Yeah.
Well, you get those people and you're in that group and you've all just experienced the same thing. So you all sort of walk away with the same experience. You've all just been through the same situation together.
Yeah.
And when you come away and you are motivated, you've got that group of people behind you as well who are also doing amazing things to keep pushing you forward.
Yeah. So if you're listening this far and you're wondering what can you take away from this podcast, I think the big thing that we want to kind of push you to do is go and invest in yourself. So maybe even write down 2 or 3 things that you can go and spend time in. So if it's maybe a book that you've always wanted to read, if it's a person you've always wanted to speak with, or if it's an event that you've always wanted to attend, our shameless one. And if you can do those 3 things, or even one of those things, you will drastically see a difference in your life, especially if you start applying that as a routine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Just to be completely shameless and plug, we do have early bird tickets and they do go off sale on Wednesday. So if you are looking to get a ticket for cheap, now would be the time to get it, as they will not be on sale for much longer. But I think I'll end the shameless promotion.
Yeah, it's going to be in the Bullet Hotel. I know he genuinely doesn't like me doing this, but Christopher says, like, he'll buy you a drink for anybody. Just do a little ticket.
Code hustle.
Yeah, code Christopher Hustle, and Christopher will buy you a beverage of some sort.
Okay, so with that said, it's Friday afternoon and we're going to try and get out of the studio here. So thank you for listening this far or watching if you're on our YouTube.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm Chris.
I'm Henry.
I'm Connor.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Boom, baby.